commitment to an early New Year proposal will help us all go back to our constituencies and our counties and say the government is on the case, we hear what you know, and we want to fix it as soon as possible. Thank you very much.
I'm going to call Daniel Kawczynski next, and then Victoria Prentice, because she's got to go and launch a fireworks display. Daniel Kawczynski.
Ah, right. Thank you very much, Mr. Walker. Can I just say, Mr. Walker, for the benefit of those Conservative members of Parliament who weren't here in 2005, when I was first elected, just how difficult it was taking this issue to the then Labour government. That we had many meetings with the Labour administration, and the intransigence that they gave this issue is something which I will never forget, and I'm very, very heartened to see the huge turnout of fellow Conservative MPs here this afternoon and the passion with which many colleagues are speaking. Thanks to the work of my honourable friend, the member for Worcester, and Beverley and Holderness, we have seen changes in the last Parliament in 2010 to 2015, and as a result of the tremendous work that they have carried out, together with others, we have received an extra £10 million per annum for Shropshire schools. And I very much welcome those increases. However, the differences between our schools in Shropshire and the national average are still huge. And it just goes to show just what a terrible position we were in before the changes were made in 2010. I would like to say that during the last election, I made this issue my #1 pledge to my constituents, as I did in 2010. I very much believe in going to the electorate and putting in the manifesto, local manifestos, what you are going to be doing over the next 5 years if you are elected to office. And I'm looking at the Minister, and on my election pledges, which all the people of Shrewsbury have received, the #1 pledge, the same this time round as it was last time, that we will now use a Conservative majority, if we have one, and we do have one, to ensure that finally this issue is settled once and for all, and Shropshire children will not be discriminated against in the way that they have been in the past. And I would like to emphasise, we do receive £4,112 per annum for our Salopian children. And this contrasts with the average of the best funded schools of £6,297. But as we all know, some schools actually some children get £7,000 or £8,000 per annum. Even almost, well, in fact, more than double what Shropshire children get. Mr. Walker, I alluded to this point in my intervention on my honourable friend from Beverley. If he could come round to see some of my schools in Shropshire, which I welcome him to come and visit, the leaking roofs, the poor insulation, the lack of equipment, the old books, the restrictions on certain extracurricular activities, the fact that some of my parents have to raise money, fundraising activities, barbecues, all sorts of things, to buy basic equipment, which is automatically provided in other parts of the country, that is simply unacceptable. And I would like to finish off by talking about one school in front of the Minister, Buildworth School, which is right on the border between my constituency and Telford, the honourable member for Telford. We are both fighting for Buildworth School to continue operating in a very remote rural village, and we very much hope that it will be saved through an academy programme. But nevertheless, some of the problems that they have experienced inevitably boils down to a lack of funding from previous governments. I would like to end, Mr. Walker, by inviting the Minister to come to Shropshire at his earliest convenience, because I want him to see the leaking roofs. I want him to see some of the dilapidated state of some of my schools. And when I go to Birmingham, as I do sometimes for various duties, and I see the sort of equivalent that they have in Birmingham, it's another world. It's another world. And that is completely and wholly unacceptable. Yes, I give way.
To visit his constituency at my earliest convenience, as he requested. I think it's worth, however, making a distinction between the capital needs of a school and the revenue funding needs of a school. And if there are schools in his constituency that are in need of capital, then he should definitely let the department know. There was a capital round in the last Parliament. I envisage there will be another one during the course of this Parliament to help repair those leaking roofs of schools in his constituency.
Kawczynski.
Well, I'm very grateful, and as a result of that, I will make sure all 5 Salopian MPs come and meet with the Minister to raise those directly with him. I will end, Mr. Walker, by saying, although, and this is an important point that we haven't heard yet, although we are one of the worst funded areas in the country, Salopian schools actually get some of the best results in the country. And that is a fascinating thing which I don't think many people have talked about. And I would urge the Minister to think about that. And why is it that a place like Shropshire, despite receiving less than half what other schools get, why is it that we manage to achieve such extraordinary high levels? Obviously, clearly, we have some of the best teachers in the country, and I pay tribute to their dedication and hard work. But going forward, I would like the Minister to look and to examine the massive differences in attainment, specifically from those areas which have been underfunded, and yet they're tremendous results. Because I think going forward for future generations, we have something to learn from that. Thank you, Mr. Walker.
Colleagues, we are in danger of getting everyone